With Carnage New Beginnings in the history book, we now shift our full attention to this year's King of the Ring tournament, and with that being said, I am your voice of Deviltry, Gresh, and welcome to the first ever King of the Ring Bracketology on this channel for this series, where I give my thoughts and opinions on certain matches that I feel will be a standout for this year's tournament. So sit back, relax, text your friends and tell them you're a little busy, and let's get down to it. But before we do, hit that subscribe button and like the video if you're new around here. It helps the channel out a lot. Oh, you've done it already. Let's get right to it. Unlike last year, where we saw the tournament exclusive to the SmackDown brand and the number of competitors significantly smaller, this year there will be 16 competitors. The rules are quite simple. It will be a single elimination tournament. The only way to advance in the tournament is by pinfall, submission, disqualification, or countout. In the case of a draw, both men will be eliminated from the tournament, and whomever they were scheduled to face next will get a bye to the next round. The semifinals and finals will take place at the King of the Ring pay-per-view event, where the winner will not only be this year's king, but will also receive a World Championship opportunity in August at SummerSlam. Here is the official bracket that will be updated on a special page following each episode over on joshuagresham.org. Now let's take a look at the first match I have my eye on, which was also the last one to be filled on the 29th edition of Monday Night Carnage. He is a former Intercontinental Champion, currently sitting at a 4-3 win-loss record over the past year. Drew McIntyre recently made his return to the ring after a lengthy layoff following his match against Karrion Kross at Joker's Wild, but has since gotten his revenge when he defeated Kross to qualify. But speaking of layoffs, no one has had quite the layoff from the ring in recent months than Drew's opponent, Andrade Cien Almas, who currently sits at a 2-4 win-loss record over the past year, and despite having his representation Zelina Vega turn her back on him and join Aleister Black, Andrade has made a vow to use this tournament as a way of a comeback to remind everyone just exactly who El Idolo is. And with this situation involving Rey Mysterio going on, something tells me he will play a key factor into the training of Almas as he prepares for this tournament, and someone he knows quite well in Drew McIntyre. Now let's take a look at this next match, which has quite the animosity built up because of what happened to Sami Zayn last year at Judgment Day. Former NXT, United States, and Intercontinental Champion, currently sitting at a 2-5 win-loss record over the past year, Kevin Owens has been heavily conflicted over the past couple of months. On one hand, he's been fighting the rebellion, but he has since stated that he hasn't forgotten what Big E did to Sami and forced him to retire last year, and he plans on giving him his receipts. All the while, the former World Heavyweight Champion has been on a mission to reclaim his former glory days, as Big E Langston recently returned after a self-imposed break to refocus, and in his heart, he feels he can reach that point yet again, but he has to get past someone who's hell-bent on getting payback for his past actions if he wants to get past the first round. I personally can't wait to see how this one goes down, because both men will be straight up fighting. I would be surprised if we see at least one wrist lock. Now let's look at this one right here that also has quite the history that is well documented, dating back to last summer. The former WWE Champion, currently sitting at a 4-1 win-loss record over the past year, Shinsuke Nakamura will finally get a chance to straight up face the man who injured his knee last summer, which forced him to vacate the title. And despite competing since, he went away and came back at WrestleMania to remind Rusev that he hasn't forgotten what went down. And speaking of Rusev, having been somewhat of a distant member of the Rebellion as of late, also a former WWE Champion, currently sitting at a 5-1 win-loss record over the past year, with one of those victories being over The Rock at WrestleMania. For weeks, he's been sending messages to Nakamura by attacking people with chairs and even being laid out by Shinsuke himself. This match will definitely be a barn burner between these two heavy hitters, if you ask me. Now the last two matches I want to look at will be interesting, especially following the events of Carnage New Beginnings. He is the final NXT champion within this series, currently sitting at a 1-2 win-loss record over the past year. Ricochet was a surprise return after having been really seen since the men's Royal Rumble match last January, and while he has been a man of very few words, he more than makes up for it once that bell rings, and he's going to have to do just that when he battles his opponent in the very first round. His opponent is the newest member of Imperium, former world and intercontinental champion, currently sitting at a 7-1 win-loss record, having wrestled a lot more than his opponent. CESARO shocked us all when he revealed himself as the 4th new member within Imperium after months of being intercontinental champion. This is an interesting turn of events for the Swiss cyborg, which begs the question, how much influence will the ring general Walter have on this match? And the last match I want to look at for this bracketology is a match that I don't recall ever happening. I can be corrected in the comment section. He is a former WWE champion and leader of the Rebellion, currently sitting at a 6-2 win-loss record over the past year. Daniel Bryan took the easy way to get to this position, defeating his Rebellion mates to get here. A complete 180 of the hard worker we've all grown to know and love, but I can tell you he's going to have his work cut out for him when he competes against the, as of now, undefeated Matt Riddle, who's currently sitting at a 1-0 win-loss record since his return following his appearance during the Men's Royal Rumble match last January. You have to wonder Bryan's mindset after he inadvertently cost Aleister Black the world title at Carnage New Beginnings. Wherever his head's at, he cannot overlook or go half-assed against someone like Matt Riddle. Now that leaves us with the Seth Rollins, Tommaso Ciampa, and Edge and Xavier Woods matches. I won't go into details about those matches this go around, but every match you see, everyone has earned this. And on the next episode of Monday Night Carnage, the next installment of this illustrious tournament will begin. I have been your voice of deviltry, Gresh. This has been the official bracketology for this year's King of the Ring. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you all next time. Be breezy.
Coming live from the west to the east. Better recognize on the mouthpiece. See the power level gotta increase. Bringing content on a daily. Feeling like Gresh.